And what society is it acceptable to insult a woman's dress in any circumstances?
Well, what society is it acceptable to have different rules for different people on the basis that they're supposed to believe different things from other people? Why do I have to... If I walk into a bank with a balaclava on, they'll soon ask me to take it off. If a woman walks into a bank with a burqa on, that's okay. Tell me why it's different. We're both citizens of the same country.
Of course, it's in your
of course, one and not good for another.
It's in your manifesto to ban it, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's not ban it. No, because I wrote that policy, and it's not to ban. It's to say that it can't be worn in public places where people have to identify themselves.
It's effectively the same thing. I mean, that's a bit illiberal. Ian Greenwood.
It's not illiberal at all.
Why a Sikh can wear a turban, a Sikh police officer can wear a turban. People have different values, and the law is quite clear, actually. If the officer at an airport needs to identify a woman, he can ask her to remove the burqa, and she's obliged to do so.
Yeah, so why give a man a hard time for making a fairly innocent remark?
Any man that insults a woman's dress is going to get a hard time.
No, he isn't. See, this is the thing. Insult somebody's dress. He's not. He's made a remark about himself. He said if my face was covered, you wouldn't let me through. He's making an observation. He hasn't said anything about her dress. He hasn't insulted her dress. If somebody was to say to you, you're going to get through this a lot easier because you're a white middle-class guy wearing a suit, you'd be pretty act off, I'd guess. I go through airport security a lot. It doesn't make any difference whether you're white middle class, got a suit on. Little old ladies, are given the same hard time as everybody else. So I can't see. I'm sorry, I don't quite follow you.
It's not whether you are actually. It's whether the perception is that you are. And the perception from many people would be that me or you, as white middle-class guys wearing a tie and a decent suit, would be less trouble than some other people.
Okay, listen.
Whether it's true or not.
All right, listen, Gerard Batten, thank you very much. Ian Greenwood, thank you very much indeed. We'll move onwards and upwards or downwards, depending on your calls. 0500 909 693. Is your community integrated or is it segregated, and does it matter? You're with 5 Live Breakfast. This is your call. Oh, it is that. Good morning. Let's hear from you on integration, segregation. What's it like in your community? Rob is in Hertfordshire. Hello, Rob.
Hi, Nicky. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, it's Friday, so it's all good. And Steve's in the West Midlands. Hello, Steve.
Good morning, Nicky.
Hello, and Peter's in North Yorkshire as well. Hello, Peter. You work with a lot of people from different communities, I believe, in your line of work. What is your line of work?
Well, I am now like a taxi driver. I've been a taxi driver for 3 years, and I work in West Yorkshire, in Keighley, which is near Bradford. And there's 42 taxi drivers, and I am the only non-Asian driver. And I've never worked for such a good bunch of people in all of my life. And I've been actually a professional person, and I hear people on this programme and many other programmes going on about actually like Sharia law and really like fundamentalists, but it's not. These people are just the same as me or you, and they have the same problems, and it's not the top of their like agenda like a Sharia law. They never talk about it. It is not a problem. They want to be a part of the community, and they are a part of the community.
You say these
just
people
the same
are
as
Asian.
everybody else.
Are they Muslim by any chance, or are they actually Asian?
Muslims, yes.
They are Muslims, right, okay.
Yeah, can I come in there?
Well, I'm interested in who was that getting the clarification?
It's Steve.
Steve,
hello.
okay. Why did you seek clarification there from Peter?
We hear Asians mentioned a lot, and often it's particularly to do with the Muslim community, but it always seems to be spread out, particularly on places like the BBC. I just wanted him to clarify that it was Muslim taxi drivers and not Asian ones.
What's your experience then?
My experience? Well, I think in this country that there's been a lot of immigration, as I think somebody said before previously on the show, that there's Buddhist, Hindus, Jain, Sikh, lots of communities, Chinese community, West Indian community, and they all seem to integrate pretty well. I do think that there is a particular problem with integration, particularly with the Islamic community, though. I think there is a problem with that.
Jerry Sutcliffe.
Well, really,
you're coming back and go on.
Yeah, I actually find that really like offensive sometimes. I say, because the Muslim Because like the Muslim community, which I actually deal with in Keighley, is they want to integrate with every other sort of Buddhist and everybody else. That they are just the same as any other single religion. They don't want to take over everything, which I hear that people are saying.
Well,
and people go on about the burqa.
Okay, let's bring Jerry Sutcliffe in, the MP. Hello, Jerry Sutcliffe again.
Hi.
So there is a danger, is there not? And we hear it all the time, and we have to express it. We have to face up to it. We have to. There's no point in suppressing it. But there's a danger of lumping an entire range of people, spectrum of human experience into kind of one community, isn't there?
That's right, and I think that's what happens, and that's the difficulty. I think he's right, and it's good that we are discussing these issues, in the open. But everybody gets lumped together, and my experience is the vast majority of people that I live and work with in Bradford get on and work really well together. Now, there are pockets of resistance, there are problem areas, and we do need to work on that, but people shouldn't be just lumped into one community or one aspect.
Do you think that the Islamic community are particularly insular in some respects?
What is the Islamic community?
Muslim community.
But there are many different communities. There are many different people saying many different things. If you can say that of the, I don't know, if you want to talk about Christianity, there are people in the COV who want gay marriage, and there are evangelical Christians who think, that's the Christian community.
There is a problem in this country with a non-integration from Islamic communities in this country. Do you think so?
Jerry Sutcliffe.
No, there isn't, because, we have Muslim doctors and nurses, Muslim teachers, Muslim council officers, integrating in society. There are issues, amongst faith, no doubt that we have, all sorts of battles with Christians, Muslims, Hindus, about all sorts of things, but that's their right, and that's the tolerance that we have as being British to allow people to have different religions. But I think, on the whole, the vast majority of people want to work and live together, and in Bradford they do.
Who have we not heard from? Is it, let me see now, is it Rob, was it?
Yeah,
go on, Rob.
Yeah, I've been trying to get in. I think the point I'd like to make, first of all, just listening to everyone's points, is basically society is massive, and obviously there's lots of different elements within our society, and I think the problem we have from the extremist views is a minority.
Yeah.
And I think, in all seriousness, whether it's those extremists that are far right or from wherever else they're from or however else they behave, I think the government personally, I think need to be more robust in dealing with those individuals that want to cause problems within our society.
And also other people from within those communities who have been slow in coming forward about, condemning that for maybe cultural reasons. Jerry Sutcliffe, that's a point as well, isn't it?
It's a fair point, Nicky. And most people do. Again, in my experience, when they come into the surgeries or we have the discussions in the locality, people do condemn extremists of all sides. And I think that perhaps, it's not an attack on the media, but perhaps the media don't pick that up sometimes, that people do, from within that community, attack the extremists that we had a recent high-profile case where somebody can't be deported. Well, I've had lots of Muslim people come to me and say that's a disgrace.
Yeah. And do you have the similar problems that Jack Straw expressed? Personal difficulty with a woman in his surgery with a burqa on. Do you have that?
And when you ask people, and explain the reasons why for it to be removed, people will remove, because they understand that we need to understand from them what their problems are.
Have you had that? Have you had a woman with a niqab on who's removed her niqab in your surgery?
I have, yes.
Yeah. That must have been an interesting conversation.
Well, it was, because, her priority wasn't what she was wearing. Her priority was for me to resolve the issue. I could only do that by having a face-to-face interview and to understand, what her emotions were.
It's 9:31. More calls coming. Jerry, more from him to come as well. Jerry Sutcliffe, it's your call. We want to hear from you about your community, integrated or segregated. 0500 909 693. You can also text us, 85058. Here's the weather. Let's hear your calls and your views about your own lives and your own communities. Integration or segregation, what is the norm where you are? Let's speak to Imran in Redhill. Good morning, sir. Imran, calling Imran, are you there? Imran? Just getting him, do the other, said a voice in my head. Nadia's in Manchester. Hello, Nadia.
Hi
there. Let me introduce.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. Let me introduce Stephen in Wakefield. Hello, Stephen in Wakefield.
Hello.
And Jill in Cornwall. Hello, Jill.
Hello, Nicky.
And Jilly in Weston. Jilly, on you go. What would you like to say, Gilly?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nicky. I used to live in Spain, and over there we have a lot of English people who move out. Apparently 1,000 people leave Britain every week to move abroad, by the way. And of those 1,000 people, 2/3 come back because they can't hack it. I just thought I'd throw that in. English tend to stick together in Spain. They don't eat the Spanish food. They tend not to learn the language, and they tend not to mix with the Spanish community. They stick together. Now, there's also a lot of Swedish, a lot of German, a lot of South American in southern Spain, and they all do the same. I just think that needs to be looked at when we're talking about communities and integrating being crucial. This has to, it doesn't happen overnight. And I think if you're an intelligent person, whatever country you're from, you tend to want to do that anyway, because you know you can learn from other people and their cultural norms and interesting facts about them.
It's a matter of curiosity, apart from anything else, isn't it? Yes, Jill in Cornwall, that's right, isn't it? I mean, it is an aspect of the human condition to stick with our own, but it's far more interesting to reach out, isn't it?
Well, yes, I think it is, but we've made it so that if you do feel that you belong in a particular community or section of society, I mean, we in Cornwall, I've just said it, we in Cornwall, I think that this end of the country is very sort of, we believe in our identity down here. We believe that we're different than the rest of the country. That's not a bad thing, but even within this end of the country, there is still labels that we want to put on people as soon as they don't conform. If you don't agree with something, someone will find a label for you, and then you tend to migrate towards other people that have the same labels, whether that be sexist, ageist, NIMBY-ish. There is always some label that can be attached to everyone, even within the sections that they choose to live in. And I love this end of the country, and I love the people. The people are different, but lovely people. But we are getting more foreign people and people from other areas moving into the country, into this end of the country, and they are, in their own way, forming their own little cliques. And there doesn't appear to be anything that anyone can do about that. They choose to do that, and it doesn't matter how welcoming a community is. If people feel more comfortable within their own little clique because they all think and eat and worship or whatever the same, then surely it should be all right to be able to do that.
Nadia, what do you want to say?
I love what she's saying, honestly, because I love multiculturalism. I grew up in Africa, where I am a Muslim, but I schooled in a Catholic school. I lived in an area where there were British people, French, Italians, Germans, and other aspects of other people, black or Muslims or Asians. And we embraced each other's life and culture. We learned from each other. And when I sit and I hear when people talk about, these Muslims, these multiculturalism has never worked, we forget that Britain or the world is based and built on sharing cultures and resources from long time ago, even during our prophet time. And I just feel that sometimes it is fear, and I don't even think it's even racism. I think it's fear, where people feel that people are coming, taking over, are doing this and that. And I think it's an individual fear. And it can
look like it's racism sometimes. It does look like it's racism sometimes.
And it's a two-way street, racism, isn't it? It can't.
Yes.
It can come from anyone towards anyone else who's different.
Exactly. And we do have cultures or people who do not want to integrate with other people because it's a human nature. They feel they have that fear. We want to hang on to our culture, to our ways of life. We don't want to change. But then it is just fear. And the minute you integrate, that fear goes away.
Okay, let's hear from Imran. We've got him eventually. Do stay there, Nadia, because what you say is right. And when you look somebody in the eyes and talk to them, everything changes, doesn't it? Very often. Imran, we got you. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Nicky.
Imran in Redhill. We've also got Stephen in Wakefield. Hello, Stephen.
Hello.
Again, Stephen, you can respond to what Imran says. Go on, Imran.
Nicky, I'm part of a group called the Ahmadiyya Muslim Association, and at the moment, for the last year and a half, we've been doing a campaign up and down the UK. It's a national campaign, and it's called Love for All, Hatred for None. And I think it encapsulates a message we're trying to get across. And even within our community members, we try and make sure that those that don't speak English start to learn English, to go to classes. We hold interfaith meetings where we call people from different faiths so we can get together